大家能听到我讲。
Ladies and gentlemen, the training is soon begin.
好的。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is the time of 7 of Beijing time. Thank you very much for your participation. If you have mic and webcam on your computer, you can turn it on so that we can communicate.
也能够感受到大家的热情嘛，不要害羞，大家
We
都
expect and look forward to your participation.
Hello，
嗨，
国内选手们，大家都配合一下，打开大家的摄像头嘛。你看，咱们的国际选手都已经开麦了，大家也可以积极的响应一下，调动一下咱们的一个氛围，一个好的学习氛围才能带动大家一个学习的激情嘛。Hello， 晚上好。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
希望各位呢，通过本次的训练营，不仅能
I hope
够
that
学
through the training camp, you
能
can
够
gain knowledges
能够加强咱们
and
选手
enhance your
交流互动。
professional skills and also enhance the communication with each other.
好了，今天训练营呢是一个正式的一个开始技能交流啦。今天的主讲
This
内容
is
是数
the
据处理
training camp for today is
俗称
about
数
the
据
technical
处
communication.
理3节课 ，Pandas、NumPy 和 Matplotlib。
有老板呢？I do. Yeah, I did some meetings here. Yeah, I did some
进
meetings.
行数据处理、数据分析、数据可视化，非常优秀的 Python 第三方库，这也是咱们决赛能够
The
应用非
lecturer,
常
Mr.
广
Zheng,
泛的一些
specialized on the NumPy pandas and Matplotlib and some data analysis processing library.
希
And
望
it
通
is
过今天
utilized
简单
in
的
the
技术交
competition.
流，各位选手
Hope
通过
that
今
through
天
the
本次的
technical
内容，
communication,
能够对这3个库有
all
更
the
清晰的认
participants
识。
will have further and deeper
训练
understanding
营结
of
束
these
后呢，
3
也希望
libraries.
各位选手能够自主
After
的
the
进
training
行
camp,
学习、练习，
we
并
expect
且
your
能在决赛
self-study
上
and
进行一个
practice
合理的
and
应用，
perform
在决赛
well
当中
in
大家能够取得一个满意的结
final
果。
competition and get the result as you required.
好，接下来的时间呢，交给本节课程的一个主讲老师曾安斌曾老师。曾
Next
老
we
师，
go
现在
to
请你
tonight's
共享
lecturer,
今天的训练营
Mr.
课件，
Zeng Anbin.
给大家讲解今天的内容。
那好的，各位同学晚上好，我先
Dear participants and experts, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share my screen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to participate in the training camp. This is the second day training. I am the lecturer for tonight's training. The content for tonight is 3 libraries: NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. NumPy and Pandas are focusing on data analysis and processing, while Matplotlib focuses on data visualization. Those are the main content for tonight's training. Now we start from the NumPy library. Here comes the first part.
绍。
First of all, I would like to introduce
它是我们
NumPy.
在做
NumPy
数据分析，还有
is
是
a
计算的一个
fundamental
领域呢
package for
这
scientific
一个
computing.
基本的一个库。
It
我
is a
们使用这
basic
个 NumPy
library.
主要是用
We
它
use
来做
NumPy
什么呢？就是做我们的一个多维数组的一个运算。
to do
其实 NumPy 它
multi-dimensional
是两个
operation.
单词的一个缩写。
Actually, NumPy consists of two
它
words.
是这个英文单词
The NUM stands for numerical,
然后 py 这个大家都
and
很熟悉
PY
就是我们的一
stands
个
for
Python 的一个缩写。
Python.
那我们 NumPy 它的意思是什么呢？就是
So the meaning of
数值的一个
NumPy is
那数
to
值
do
它的作用
the
它的
numerical
就是要
Python.
解决我们
The function
弥
of
补我们
NumPy
Python
is to
语言
solve
本身所
Python
欠缺的一个数
that
值
is
计算的
lack of the data
这一句话真的要去理
calculation.
解它。它为什
How
么
to understand this
这个
sentence?
Python 的数值计算
How
的
to
能力
add the lack
其
of
实
Python?
我们这个
Actually,
了解计算机的，我们都知道，
when we
在计算
have
机里
the
面呢，
common understanding
我
of
们
the
的算
computer,
法它其实有这个叫
there are many
数值计
ways
算法，还
of
有就是
calculation.
非
We
数值
use
算法
we
这
used
些。
array
那这个非
calculation
数值
and
算法是什么
non-array
非
calculation.
数值算法就比如
What
说
is
我们
non-array
在学
calculation?
Python 的时
For
候，
example,
我
when we
写了一
learn
个
Python, I
写
write
了一个循环，对吧？写了一个循
a
环，或者我写
recurrent
了一个 if 判断，是这样
or
一
we
个
write
条件的一
a
个设置。
decision
那这些
or a
算法
branch.
它其实叫做我
Those
们
calculations
非数值算法。
are called non-array calculation.
那什么又是数值算法呢？
And what
数
is
值算
the
法
array
其
calculation?
实是我们的
It is
这个
actually
高等数学
in the
高
geometric
等数学里面所研究的一些
that
东西。
research some of the knowledges.
比如说什么呢？
For
比
example,
如说微分微分
the
积分
geometrics,
还
mathematics,
有线性代数这些
and
其实都叫什么呢？
linear
都叫我们的一
algebra.
个数值算法。
Those are the array calculation.
这里我来举一个例子去说
Here, I
明
would
一
like
下
to give you
这个
an
数值算
example
法这个数
for
值
you
算
to
法
better
我们说
understand
一下
array
就
calculation.
以什么呢？就以咱们的这个叫求积分为例
Let's
比
take
如说我现
the
在在这里
algebra as an
给
example.
大家画一个图
Here, I would like to draw an image for you.
这个是我的 x 轴，
This is the this is the
这
x
是
axis.
我的一个 y 轴
This is the y axis.
这个是，然后比如说
I'll make it thinner.
我这个
For
地方
example,
有一个可导的一个曲线，
here, if it is a curve at this part,
这个样子的，好吧？这个样子的。那现在我想要求的是什么呢？这一块，
and the result I would like to get
这一块
is in this chunk.
比如说是
For example,
x1，
this is x1,
这里是 x2，
and here is
我想
x2.
求的是什么呢？
I would like to get
到 x2这一块它的一个积分。
the calculus between x1 to x2.
那这个积分怎么去进行一个求解法？
How can we calculate the calculus between x1 and x2?
数学的我们都知道，这个积分它本质上求解的是什么呢？
Well, the basic fundamental
求解的是我们
of
这个
calculus
区域它的一个面积
is to get the
这块区域的面积
portion of this
是我们
part.
的一个本质。那这一块区域怎么样去求解它的一个面积呢？
And how to get the proportion of this part? That is the question that we need to solve.
那这一个区域它是不是一个不规则的一个什么封闭的一个区域，对不对？
In this part,
那如果
it is a non-shaped
去计算区域的面积的话，很明显
area
是不太现实的。
that it is hard to calculate it through formula.
那这一边并不是直线，
We treat it as a tripod. It is not a linear line
那我们怎么样
because it is a curve.
能够更精确的去计算它呢？
So how can we precisely calculate the proportion?
我在
Here is what we are going to do.
假如我这样
I add some of the lines in this part and divide this part into several parts. And the numbers of the parts will be countless. When you divide it as small as possible, for example, like 10,000 parts of the chunk. So in each part, we can treat it as a tripzon. The answer is yes. When these 2 points is getting close enough, then we can treat this curve as a linear. And if it is a line, a straight line, so that we can calculate it through the trapezard formula. And vice versa to the other parts in this chunk. When we count each part of the proportion, we plus all of them. And the final proportion is got. When we get the proportion of this part, think about the question. In each of these smaller parts, it occupies a huge number, which means I will have a large scale of calculation. So normally, the array calculation will usually have a large number. In Python, we understand the figures of the software. It has the advantages of it. For example, the efficiency of coding and readability is friendly. However, the weakness is obvious too. That is, the language itself has low calculation efficiency. Let's say if we use this language with low speed operation and take over a large scale calculation tasks, then the function of this language will not meet the requirement of the large number calculation. Therefore, here we shall choose one of the libraries that can meet the demand of it. Therefore, NumPy is that invented. The existence of NumPy is to solve the problems that Python cannot solve, which is the array calculation. Here, we have talked about the function of NumPy. Why does NumPy take over the array calculation well? We all know that it occupies a large number calculation. Actually, It is because the underlayer of NumPy is based on the C language.
那 C 语言我们都知道啊
We all
，C 语
know
言它的一个运
that
行速度是
C language operation speed is very
也
fast.
就是说我们在使用这个NumPy 的时候，
When we use NumPy,
本质上我是在调用咱们 Python 的
basically
这个代码，或者
we use the code from
Python 的
Python,
一个接口啊，
or in another word, the
但是
set
其实
and socket
就是它
of
的一个
Python.
它其实是
However,
运行了大量
the
的
underlying
运行了咱们
NumPy operates and runs C language code.
除此之外，我们这个
In
NumPy
addition,
一个 NumPy 它还会怎么样呢？还会去尽量的
NumPy can, as much as possible, use less or even not use the recurrent in Python so that the efficiency of code will be leveled up.
代码
And also,
非常简洁的。
the code is simple and fast too.
好了，这里我们就去大概去说了一下。
Here, I will give you a brief understanding of NumPy and its characteristics.
接下来我们来说一下，就是
Next, we will talk about
它是一个第三方库。
the library of NumPy.
这个 NumPy 的时候，首先我们要对这个
When we do NumPy, first of all,
安装。
we have to install the NumPy.
如果是有这个 Anaconda 的环境呢，
If you have Anaconda,
去通过Conda 这个
we can
去进行一个安装。
install NumPy through Anaconda order.
这个 Python 的这个环境呢，
If you use
可以
Python,
通过咱们的这个
you can directly use PIP order to conduct
我去
installation.
进行一个简单的演示。
Here, I would like to demonstrate.
我在这里
As you can see from the screen, from CMD
打开我们的一个
to open up the Windows order line.
在这儿
And here,
去输入 PIP 的
I type in PIP order.
PIP install，
That is PIP install.
然后这里面是输入咱们的 NumPy，
And here, we install the name of NumPy library.
那这样呢，它就会去自动的去
Here in this way,
安装咱们的
it automatically install NumPy library.
那这里我是已经装好了。
Well, in my computer, NumPy is already installed. If you are not installed in your computer, it will automatically download and install NumPy.
那装好了之后，我们就要来
After installation, we will try to operate it and use it. Here, I will show you how to use NumPy. First of all, we type in Python,
我们的一个 Python 的一个交互
and then we goes into the Python integrated environment.
我去
At this part,
import 一下
I directly import
NumPy，
NumPy.
可以取个别名，
We can give you another name
NP，
as NP.
这样是引入成功了，是吧？引入成功了，
Now it is successfully imported,
就是 A
and we can operate it through NumPy.
NP 点
That is A equals to np.array bracket.
1 2 3 4
Now we add in the numbers from 1 to 4. Here return with another A.
刚才这个操作我就是去
The operation that I showed before is to show you the very simple operation of NumPy.
那接下来我要去说一下这个 NumPy 里面
Now
的核心
I'm going to share
那它的
the
核心
object
是什么呢？就是
in NumPy.
ND array， ND array，
The core of NumPy is called ND array. It is an abbreviation, and it is an abbreviation of numerical dimension array. All of the operation on NumPy are based on ND array. What is the characteristic of this ND array? It supports the vector operation and broadcasting, so that it allows us to maximize our operation speed. Another one is NumPy array has to be the same elements. How to comprehend the same elements, that is to say, the same types. What is the advantage of the same types of the elements? That is to say, in a computer, it could achieve a continuous saving. So we do a massive calculation. It helps us speed up the calculation in a large extent. Furthermore, with ND array, when we save, there are actual data and source data. For example, here, if it is the actual data, I will name them 1, 2, 3, and 4. In number 1 part, it is the actual data of NumPy. Except that we have the source data. And what is the source data? It is the data that describes the actual data. For example, and here, as you can see, I can save the categories of the actual data. Also, I can save the dimension of the actual data. And also, I can save the other elements such as 0, x and x, etc., and etc. This series of data is to describe the actual data. The advantage of doing this is that I don't have to operate and visit the actual data all the time in every step. For example, if here is a one-dimensional array, if I want to change this 1D array to 2D array, now I'm going to draw a 2D array. This is a sample of 2D array. Also, I named them 1 to 4. From 1D array to 2D array, do I need to operate the actual data? The answer is no, I don't have to. What I need to change is to change the data in this frame. Through the description of the source data. For example, the first two For example, the first two numbers stand for the first line, and the number 3 and 4 stands for the second line, so that I change the dimension of the source data. In this way, I don't actually change and visit the actual data. In this way, we can speed up the efficiency of the operation. This is the NumPy array and the characteristics of it. Let's say if we have a larger data set, the advantage will be shown as well. Next, we'll have a view of how to create the ND array object. Here, we will need to utilize an array formula to achieve it. Let's look at the parameters in this formula. Object to the data, it indicates the array that is wanted to create. And let's look at this one, D type. When we use it, one is object, and the second one is the D type. D type indicates that the multi-dimensional array that I wanted to create, the type of elements, because all of the elements in NumPy and the types of the elements are the same. So we use D type to point the elements. Here comes the example of creating. The first one, we need to import NumPy library. And here, we can create a one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array, or even the three-dimensional array. That is all acquirable. Here we use the code. I'm going to use the code to demonstrate it. Here, as you can see, I go into the PyCharm, and here's a Python file. I add in demo01 -nd array. Now I type in import NumPy. Same as before. I change the name to MP. The change value array1 equals to np.array bracket this function. The first parameter I give is the data. For example, the number from 1 to 10. Here we don't have to. Here we don't have to give the data. If the data is not given, the data will be going according to the given data as before. Here, I'm going to run it. This is the result that we obtained.
它是一个什么？它是一个一维的一个数组。
This is a one-dimensional
它有点
array.
像列表啊，但它和
It is
列表是一个
a
东
little
西，
similar to the list, but
是
is
同一个类型。
totally
列
not
表它
as
是
same
有这个
as a
代号。
list.
那你这个呢？你
In a
知道
list, in the list, we are dot between
我们
each
首先
number.
看一下它的类型。
Let's check the category.
这是什么？这是一个 class numpy 点
As we can see, this is a class numpy dot
还有
in the
你
array.
创建二维数组也是没有问题的。
Also, we can create the two-dimensional array.
你 np 点
As you can see, array2 equals to np dot array bracket.
那你创建二维数组，你就程
When we
序
create
它
the
要必须
two-dimensional array,
咱们
the
二维
normal
数组的
data
一个逻辑结
have to meet the logic structure of two-dimensional
一二三四
array. For example, the number from 1 to 4,
三四五
then the number from 2 to 5,
三四五六，是吧？
and the number from
这个
3
地
to
方可以
6.
给它一个什么呢？可以给它一个 d type，
Here, I can type in d type
等于 np 点
that equals to np dot float.
浮点型。
That is the float type.
来打一下啊，
Now I type in print array.
那这个是得到了一个
Here,
二维数组。
the result is obtained, which is a two-dimensional array. There are 3 lines of this
每一行
two-dimensional array.
是不是都有几列？
Each of the line has 4 columns.
那创建三维的也是可以的。
Now let's try to create a 3-dimensional
哎呦
array.
那三维里面，那你也得是什么？
In
你也得
3-dimensional
这个
array,
三维的逻辑结
same as the one
这个样子的。
of 2-dimensional array, it has to meet
这里
the
面
logic
叫
of 3 dimension.
一二是吧？
For example, the number from 0 to 2,
三四五
the number from 3 to 5,
六七八。
and the number from 6 to 8.
注意看，这个它本身就是一个二维的，
Let's check
对不
this.
对？那二
This
维
part,
和二维
as I highlighted, are 2-dimensional,
三维了吗？
and 2D plus 2D
一二三
will be becoming
四
the 3-dimensional.
七八九。
I'm typing the numbers.
打印一下这个 array 三。
Also here, I print the array 3.
啊，得到的是这样一个结果。
Here, the results are obtained.
那三维数组，它
In
是什么呢？
3-dimensional array,
啊，一本
it is
书，好吧？
similar to
那这
a
个叫
book.
什么？
For example,
这个叫第
what do we call this?
第零页。
This is the page 0,
那这个叫什么呢？这个叫第一页。
and this one is similar to the
那二维
page
就好
1.
像是一张纸，对不对？那我们
And the
两张纸合起来
two-dimensional array is like
或者多
a
张纸
paper.
合起来，那就是
When we add
像
several
一样
papers together, it becomes like a book.
是不是就有两页纸？
So, for example,
啊，这里
in
面
this
是
one, there are 2 pages
行
of this
是
book,
吧？每页有
and
四
this is the row. Each one has 3 rows and 3 columns.
那除了这个 array，我们还可以用什么方式
E-
呢？
Except this
还可以
array,
用另外一个函数，
we can use another function to
就是
achieve
一
it.
点什么呢？叫 arrange，
That is
然后它也是可以创
np
建的。
dot arrange. And also, this function
这个
is common used
这
as
个
well.
arrange 函数它的这个
This
规则啊，
arrange function
就
and
我们
the
Python 里的
rules
这个 range 函数
is
它的规则
similar
基本上
to
是一致的。
Python.
然后可以看一下，
Let's take a look at
开
this.
始到10，
From the number 1 to 10,
然后不
not
同
include.
默认是1啊，
the default
得
is
到的
1.
是1到9，
And the result is the number from 1 to 9.
过场为2，就是1、3、5、7、9，是吧？那这里啊，我们看一下，这里是创建3维。
Here, as we can see from the PowerPoint, in this part, it is the three-dimensional array creation.
那我们再来看一看，就是这个 undo array 它的
Now let's take a look at
一些属性啊。
the common properties
那这个 T
of ND array.
转置就是行转。
Here, the property T stands for transposition operation.
而 size 是指
We can swap the data along the diagonal.
一个个数。
Size is to obtain the number of elements in an array.
那 item size 它是指的是什么呢？就是
Item size stands for
单个元素它所占
the
的
single elements and its byte length.
这是
D type.
数组中元素的这个类型。
It is the object in data type.
Ending 它表示的是尾数。
Ending
1维、2维或者3维。
stands for the dimensions such as 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and 3 dimension. Shape stands for the shape of the array. Also, we call it the dimension as well.
它返回的结果是一个元组。
The result is a tuple.
Flags 它表示的是
Flags.
获取
It stands for
一些
obtaining
信息啊。
the information inside an array.
那这里我们写个代码去演示一下。
Here, I will demonstrate through a code.
ND 那个叫 ATTR。
Type in ATTR.
NP 先导进来。那 A 等于什么呢
Here, A equals to np.array bracket. Create array. Number from 1 to 3, number from 4 to 6, the number from 7 to 9, and the number from 10 to 12.
然后打一下 A，
And we type in print bracket A.
一下啊，
Let's run.
它现在得到是一个二维数组，
Now we obtain a two-dimensional array.
是个二维数是吧？然后 A 点 T，
Here I type in print A.T to conduct transposition.
我们看一下
As we can see from the result,
行
here
这里变成了列，
the row becomes
列
column,
到这里变成了
and the column
转折。
above becomes the row. This is called transposition.
是多少？
Here I type in print A dot size, and it comes to the number 12. That is to say, we have 12 elements in total. Here I type in print A dot item size and run the code. Here, item size function comes to the result of 4. It stands for that each element occupies 4 bytes. Let's type in print A dot D type. From D type function, we obtain the int34. That is the type of the elements. What is the meaning of int32? That is an odd number 32. And that equals to 4 bytes. as it is an integer.
二维，我们是二维数组是吧？
Here it shows that it is a two-dimensional array.
看 a 点 shape，
Let's try a.shape and run the code.
这是什么形状？
Here it shows you the shape. It has 4
四行，一
rows
二三四行，三列，
and 3 columns.
这是形状啊。
This is the shape.
然后这个形状，这个 shape 它是可以改变的。
The shape
那怎么改变呢？
is changeable.
我就可以
How can we change the shape of it?
reshape 进行改变。
Let's try a.reshape
现在是四
to
行三
change
列
it. For example, now we have 4 rows and 3 columns. And now we change it to 3 rows and 4 columns. And let's print it.
看看，变成这样
Now we got the result.
三行
That is
四列。
3 rows and 4
还有一个我们
columns.
可以怎么样呢？
Also,
可以把它进行一个展平。
we can do a flat operation. Let's type in a.flatten.
来看这个，
Now let's take a look at this.
展平就是什么呢？就是说，不管你是
The meaning of flatten is that no matter how many dimensions you have,
一维的维度，
I transform it to a one-dimension array.
是一个一维的。
As you can see, this is a one-dimension array.
那这里啊，我们这些操作呢，刚刚都给大家
Here in this page, I have already shown you.
啊，这是我们的一个改变形状，
This one is about the shape changing.
这是 flatten。
This is flatten, as I demonstrated before.
接下来我们来看这一块，也就是
Next.
NumPy 里面的常见的统
Let's
计分析函数。
Look at the common
它是做
statistical
sort，
analyze function of
那
NumPy.
sort 是干嘛的呢？
The first one, sort function.
用排序，
The function of sort is to sorting.
直接使用调用它的一个sort。
We can directly import the method
它
of
里面
sorting.
还有一个参数就是 access。
In this one, there's access parameter.
access 它表示就是说我们的
It means
排序的一个方向。当然
the orientations of sorting,
咱们的一个多维的一个数组，好吧
and it is for the multi-dimensional array, especially the two-dimensional array. Axis equals 1 means
零呢，它表示
to sorting
排序啊。
horizontally. And axis equals 0 means to sort along the vertical. I also demonstrated for you.
demo03
Here I type in demo03 dash FUNC. And I type in import numpy as np.
假如 a 等于 np 点
Let's assume that a equals to np dot random dot randint bracket,
生成多少个数呢？是随机
and the data is from 0 to 100, and the size is 5 randomly. Let's type in print a bracket, and let's check the result.
调一下 a 点 sort，
Here, if we use the a dot sort bracket and run it,
排序了吧？针对二维的可不可以？
here it comes to a sorting.
比如说 b
Let's try the two-dimensional array. For example, b equals to np dot random dot randint, the number from 0 to 100. Same as before. Size equals to 5, 5.
然后这里
Next, type in print b bracket.
1点 sort，
And also type in b dot sort. Let's say, let's put in axis equals to 1. What is the sorting of the axis equals 1? That is the horizontal sorting. It's wrong.
这个是那个 D， 这个是排序后的。
Now, the first one is the number, and the second one is the data that is sorted. As you can see from this orientation, it is sorted. And this is the sort function.
那这里还有一个 arc sort， 那 arc
Here,
sort
there's another one that is called the arc sort.
排序的一个下标。
It is the subscript of sorting.
这里我们要看一下。
It is not directly sorting. It is the subscript. As demonstrated, C equals to np.random.random. Number from 0 to 100 and size equals to 5. It's typing print C bracket. And it's typing sort dash index equals to C dot arcsort bracket. And also type in print sort dash index. Let's run the code. Here, this one is C, and the result we get is 41300. And what does it mean? And 4 is 21, and 1 is 24, and 3 is 27, and 2 is 28, and 0 is 43, because all of them are the subscripts. Now let's look at the unit. What's the function of unit? There are two functions of it. The first one is sorting. The second one is to get the unique value. That is to delete the duplicate. For example, D equals to np dot array bracket. Let's say, let's put in 33114224 bracket. Well, here it is not sorted and have duplicated numbers. Let's put in np dot unique and type in D, and it's print D. Sorry, it is a wrong number that we type in. Well, if we print D, that is the result that is shown. And we can see that it is sorted as the result. Now let's check tile function. What's the meaning of this function? The order of this function is duplicate. It's pointing duplicate. For example, let's type in E equals to np.arrange, and let's put in a number from 1 to 10, and type in ray shape bracket, and it's print E. And let's put E dash tile equals to np.tile. In the bracket, we put in E. For example, let's duplicate it twice. Now we print in E dash tile, and let's run the code and see the result. Here, this one is E, and the one below is the one that duplicate. Here is another one that is the repeat function. Also, the repeat function is duplicated. However, the differences between repeat to tile is that repeat function
我们也来看看啊，
repeats every element.
到这里 repeat np 点
Let's put in e dash repeat equals to np dot repeat bracket.
2，我给个轴向 x 上，
I'll give an axis equals to 1. And let's print e dash repeat.
那横向每个元素
Here in the horizontal, each element is duplicated.
好了，接下来我们休息10分钟啊，休息10分钟。
Now let's take a 10 minutes break.
10分钟后回来我们再继续啊。
Then we'll come back after 10 minutes.
8点钟回来啊。
That is in 8 o'clock. Beijing time.
Beijing 回来啊。
那我出去活跃一下，然后我就走了啊。慢一点。现在是咱们的一个休息时间，然后选手有什么一些小问题的话，大家可以交流一下，也可以开一下视频，开一
All
下
the
麦克风，大
participants,
家
if
交
you
流
have
一
any
下。
questions, you can turn on your mic and webcam to communicate.
Hello，
嗨，Pandas Basics.
我后台呢有放一些音乐，各位能听到吗？大家稍微的放松一下，听会儿音乐，休息一下。能不
Here
能
I
听
would
到？
like,
不能的话，我就换一个。听不见啊，那行，那我试着用手。
ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to play some music so to help you relax a little.
现在可以听见吗？大家先听会儿歌，休息一会儿，歇会儿，听完1个小时了。接下来的话，剩下的时间，跟老师继续。听到了吧？
顶的浪潮多危险，你曾不舍留在这地点，过往湮灭我们的情节，把相拥的纸伞越化作云烟。当记忆泛红，你沉默的记忆，慢慢上升你耳边，不是被我随意。走一遍又一遍，长街等花开，等花落，年复年年，声线越交接。有一天，你也会悄然离去，默默地消失深海里。故事中，我们拥抱着躯体，听风铃，最后都化为灰烬。怎么抓也抓不住你的呼吸，是我再也猜不到你的秘密。我想留下你晃悠悠的背影，沿着歌。
好了，现在到时间了，然后继
Ladies
续。
and gentlemen, the class will now begin. We'll continue our training.
大家都回来了吗？
好
大家都在线了吗？ 我们继续后续开始喽。
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue our training.
我们继续啊。那接下来啊，我们要去学习我们的一个
Now we are going to learn
一个库啊。
another library that is called the pandas.
那 pandas 它可谓是我们 Python 做
Pandas
数据分析的一个神器啊。
is an powerful
里
toolkit
面它提
in
供了
Python.
很多的这个
In pandas, it has a large number of functions and
可
methods
以很方便的我们去做
that is very convenient for us to do
各种各样的
operations about data
要
and
注意的
relevant
是说
to any data.
pandas 它
It
是
is worth mentioning
分
that
析我们
pandas
结构化数据的这样一个
is to analyze the structural data.
Excel 数据，还有
It is similar to
手口
Excel
这样的
data
数据。
and circle data, etc. and etc.
那 pandas 里面的一些基本的功能，
In pandas, the
第一就
fundamental
是数据
functions is that the first
比如
one,
说从
data,
CSV
reading, and writing.
Excel 文件
For example,
以及数据
the
库
Excel files
可以很方便的去读取我们所需
and
要
other
的
files, we can
数据。
conveniently read and write the data that we
然后比
needed.
如说做数据清洗，
For example,
对于
if we do the data cleaning
和重复数据的。
for the duplicated numbers and data
然后第
and the
三
missing
是
data
可以从
operation.
data frame 和更高纬度的对象中进行一个
The third one,
CRUD 相关
we
的
can
操作，
obtain the higher dimensional objects.
就是基于智能
The
标
fourth
记
one
切片，花式索引。
is to do the smart label based lining,
第五呢
fancy indexing.
我们可以很方便的进行
And the fifth,
不同
we can
类
conveniently
数据的一个合并。
conduct intuitive merging of joint data sets.
第六点，比如说就是我
And the
们
last one,
时间序列这一块。
for example, the time series data set.
当然说这里啊，我们列举的只是它的一个
Here I list
部分
are
功能，
parts of the
那
functions
其实它还有
of the
很多
pandas.
其他
Actually,
功能，
it
我们都是
contains
可以去使用
more
这个
other functions that we can utilize from pandas to operate.
那 pandas 里面啊，我
Here
们
in
对它
pandas,
来进行研究，
when we
主
do the
要是
research of
针
it,
对我们的一个 service
that is,
和
we focus on the
对
servers
里面
and
的一
data
个
frame.
研究啊。那首先来说一下这个 service。
First of all, let's talk about the series.
它就是什么？它就是对应我们 pandas 里面的一维
Series
的一个数据，
is to
还有我
operate
们的一个索
the
引和
one-dimensional data. It is consists of
当
index
然，我们的
and
一个
data.
这个 service 呢，它是和我们的这个 NumPy 数组 NumPy 的一维数组它
The
是有区别的。
series is different from
主要区别
NumPy
就是什么？就是我们的这个 service
array.
带有这个标题
The main difference is that the series has
，NumPy
labels,
数组它是没有这个标题。
while the NumPy doesn't have the label.
那怎么样来得到或者说来创建一个 service 的
How
项
can
目？
we create the series
我们可以
object?
去通过代码来进行一个演示。
I will also use the code to demonstrate.
你有一个 Python file 可以模拟式
Let's utilize Python file.
service。首先引入 pandas 库，
First of all, let's import the pandas library, pandas as
然
PDs,
后创建 service 对象，
and create the series object
service 构成
through
出来方面。
pd.series
里面的第一个参数是什么？
to create functions.
就是你要
And the
创
first
建
parameter
数据，
is that we create the numbers. For example,
7、6。
10 minus 3, 7,
现在
6,
打一下 service，
and print series.
运行一下。
and it's run the code.
那我们得到这样一个数据。
Now the data is obtained. Please pay attention to this one. Here
其实是什么呢？
is actually
里面的数据。
the data in
那这个
series,
是什么呢？
and the numbers above
这是它的索引。
are the index.
因为索引我这里没有去给定它的索引，
I haven't given
没有给定的话，
pointed
自
index.
动的从零开始
Therefore,
生成
it automatically
整数据的索引。
generates the continuous number of the index.
这个索引我是可以通过传参，我去给定我自定义的一些索引的。
Through the customized,
比如说这样啊
I can control the index.
，S 等于
For example,
减
S equals to PD.series bracket, and it's putting the number 10, -3, 7,
给
6.
定一个 index。
Now I customized
index 给定它的索引，这里
the
索引有
data
几个呢？数据是4
by index
我通过一个
equals to list, and I type in the letters from A to D and print S and run the code.
那现在得到的 series 是这个样子，
Now we get the result as
其
this.
中
Among them,
这是数据，
this part are the
给
data,
定的一个索引。
and here is the index
那
customized.
这个 series 你可以怎么样去理解它呢？
How
你
to
可以把它想象成
regard
是一维
series?
和字典的
We can regard it as the combination
那
of
你
the
看这边，
one dimension and
它是
dictionary.
一个一维的
If you look at this
一维
one,
的数据，
it is like
同时
a one-dimensional array.
都带有什么？
At the same time, each data has the label.
比如说这个是 A， 这个是 B，
For
这个
example,
是 C， 这个是
the number 10, the label of number 10 is
那
A.
就意味着我们要去绑
That is
它
to
的
say,
数据啊，
if we need to visit the data,
和数据的方式去
we can
进行
go through dictionaries and index.
来看一下 ，run s
Let's try this
怎么
one.
个方式啊？
And let's type in print S. What is the
这是类似于咱们的一个
method of this
一
one?
维数字的访问方式。我们通过
And
数
this
字来
is
进行
the
访问
type of one-dimensional
那这个得到
array.
数据了，
We visit through subtitles, subscript.
得到是10，因为是
And
这个
now
是吧？
we
1
obtain
1
10.
2 3嘛。我还可以通过什么呢？
We can also
还可以通过
visit
标签来进行
through
访问。这里
labels.
来个 B，
For example, let's type in B,
那 B 对应的是谁？
and the corresponding data is -3.
那得到一个负3，是吧？
There we go. We obtain the number 3,
那这就是
-3.
我们的一个 series。
And this is the series.
那它这里面有一些基本的一些属性啊，我们可以看一下。
So
那我们
there
要
are
掌握的，它这个
basic functions.
得到的是什么？
We need to master values,
index 呢？
and we will obtain
所以
data. An index is the one that I shown before, and size is the numbers of the elements, and shape are the shape of the data.
在 NumPy 数据里面也有，是吧？
And in NumPy, there are shape and size as well. And now we're going to focus on the values and index.
run 它 s 点 values，
Let's type in print s.values.
得到的是我们的这个数据，
Now we got data.
是不是它的数
That
据
is 10, -3, 7, and 6. That is
？s 点
the
index
basic data. Now let's try s.index.
是它的索引。
Now we obtain the index of the data.
那接下来我们再来学习的就是我们的
Next.
data frame。那 data frame 它
Let's
是我们 Pandas
learn another object that is data frame. Data frame is another common data structure in
对
pandas.
应这个二维的一个数据啊。
It can be regarded as a container of series, and also it is a two-dimensional data.
然后
It is like an Excel sheet. Also, through data frame structure function, we can create data frame.
我们也通过代码来进行一个演示啊。
And now I'm going to show you through the
一
code
个 Python file
using Python file.
demo 05 data file， 在这里 import pandas。
Here, I type in import pandas as PD as
那
before,
def 等于什么？
and
d
df equals to pd.dataframe
要
bracket.
传入一个二维的数据，比如说张三，
Please be focused. Here we need to put in a two-dimensional data. For example, the first ZS represents the name, and 20 years old, and he got 95.5.
21岁，
And the second name, that is LS, and with the age of 21,
王五
and got the score of 94. And a third person, let's assume his name is WW, with the age of 19, and the score of 92. And it's print. And run the code.
得到这样一个
Here the results are
数
obtained.
据类型是吧？那其实这里面
So in
这个属于
this
什么？
result,
属于我们的 data frame 的数据。
in this part, it is the data in data
这
frame.
个列索引也叫列标记。
And as you can see, the part above are the index of column,
也叫行
and the
标记。
left one is the index
当然我们没有给
of
的话，它也是
row
默认
of column.
零生成连续的整数的。比如说
If not given,
都是0 1
the index will generate it from 0
啊，这个呢，我们也是
to the continuous
通过
numbers.
我们的
Also,
参数，我们去给定
we
我们
can
的列索
use
和行
parameters to assign
首先啊，
the row and column index.
把这个拿过来吧，复制一遍啊。
Let's copy the data
然后在这儿，
as we typed in before.
比如说我想给一个列索引，
Here, for example, I would like to give a columns,
列姓名是吧？
and the columns represent name, age, and score.
再来打一下，
Now let's print the df.
哎，我们可以看到，
Now
它的
we
列
got
索
the
引
result
是有发生一个变化，
with the
变
columns
成了列
that are name, age, and score, respectively.
除了这种方式，
Except
我们
this
还可以
method,
通过字典的方式进行创建。
we can use another way that is
啊，这
dictionary
里是
to
不是有
create.
P 有 Y 钮啊？
For example, pd.dataframe. Let's type in name.
任张三，李设
Let's assume the name of this person is
王五
ZS, LS, and WW. Those are all the names.
age
And second part, age.
20 21
That is 20, 21, and 19.
还有 score
And the last one, score.
95.5，
95.5,
94
94,
92
and 92.
打印一下 df，
And now let's print df. Now run the code.
哎，
And
一
here
样的
we
可以通过
obtain
来
the
做一
result.
个 data frame。
Same as the last one, we can also create a data frame.
这里呢，我们说了，就是 pandas 里面的两种重要的数据类型，一个是
Here,
set，
as I
一
mentioned,
个是 data frame。
there are two very
那
important,
接下来我们说一下，就是 pandas 里面的一个数据的
Structure
读写。
and data frame is one of them. Now we are going to talk about the read and write
着重去说一下
function.
CSV 文件，还有就是我
We
们
will be focusing on the CSV file and Excel file reading and writing.
首先说一下 CSV 文件的读写。
Now let's go to the CSV file reading and writing.
CSV 是可以实现
Here, read CSV can achieve
那 to CSV
reading
可以
of the
实现
CSV file,
CSV 文件的一个写入。
and we can write in PD2-CSV
里面
to write the parameters. Here, file path means the path of the file. SCP means the dot and the column of each data. And here, header means that we put the name of the list. Then here we can manually input. Skip row, we can jump some of the rows and columns. Here, let's see 2-CSV. File path also, the path. Here we will talk about the columns and header. That is whether to write in the columns or not. Here, index, that means whether writing the columns as well.
好，那我们也通过代码来进行一个演示啊。
Now I will demonstrate through the code. Let's create a Python file.
Import pandas PD.
Now we type in import pandas as PD as before.
那我现在去读取谁呢？读取这里啊，这里 data 里面有
Now I will read the file in data, and the name of this and the file of this one is the iris.csv. Let's type in iris equals to pd dot read dash csv bracket. Let's give a path to point the folder. Now here we only provide the path of the file, and it's printed. Here we got this result. Let's check this one. There are 8 columns, and the result are rows. But the result are only 7 rows. And the default is the 0 row. For example, if I want to customize it, I type in pd.read-csv bracket and type in data iris.csv and type in header equals to none. And I want to customize the name of the column. For example, the height, the width, and the category. Let's print the iris and run the code. Here we obtain the customized names of the columns. This is the file reading. And what about the writing? For example, the iris1.2-csv bracket. And let's give a path of it, that is data iris1.csv. And let's run the code. Here, as we can see, pay attention to this. In this code, the number of row is written in, but the first one is empty. Here, I can name this file. And I'm giving a parameter that is index-label equals to idx. And run the code. Now another one is generated, and IDX is the name.
还有这个地方，假设我怎么说呢？我再看
Here, hypothetically,
因为这里改成3，
I change here from 2 to 3,
我的所有
and then I change index
不写，那就改为 false。
to
我把
false,
我写入的列名，
and I put in the column names is H that represents height and Y, and run the code. Now we obtain
是不是没有写入？那列名呢？
only
只有
height and Y
只有这么2列。
without index.
我是通过谁来指定的？
I use columns here
指定
to
我写的
point
列名。
the name of the columns, and I use index to point whether or not I put in the index.
那这个就是我们的一个 CSV 文件的一个读取。
This is the demonstration of CSV file reading and writing.
好了，那来到这啊，来这儿我们再看一下，就是 Excel 一个
Let's check
文件的一个
the Excel files reading and writing.
Excel 呢，我们是读的
For
话
Excel,
用 read Excel。
the way we read Excel is to use the function of read-Excel.
这个方法
And the function to write Excel is the function of to-Excel.
CSV 它的
The method of
基本上
the Excel file reading and writing is similar to the CSV file reading and writing.
我们这里啊，通过代码来看一下。
Here, I also show you, also demonstrated through the code running.
有一个 Python file，
Now I create another demo.
Excel import pandas，
And I type in import pandas as
那
dpd.
我要去读取谁呢？
Here,
去读取这个
I'll read this file.
读取这样一个
Let's
Excel
check this one. This is an Excel.
看一下。
Let's take a look at this.
然后 df 等于 pd 点 read，
Let's type in df equals to pd.read-excel
然后
bracket,
data，
and then let's put in data
data 点 xl
and data.xlsx.
是吧？打印，
Let's print it
来运行一下。
and run the code.
得到这样一个 data frame，
Here we got the result of this data frame.
正好是它们里面的数据是吧？
Here, the result are the data that is in the Excel.
然后我想对这个进行存储，
Next, I would like to operate saving.
to Excel
Now, I put in df.to-excel
杠
and also type in data1
xl
xlsx.
看一下，得到这样一个 data
Here,
frame。
another one is generated. That is the result that we got.
那如果我不想把这个索引写进
If
去，怎么办
I？ don't want to write in the index, how can we do?
那也是可以这样啊。这里来个叫 data 2，
Here's the way. I
一个
change
参数
the data1 to data2 and give a parameter
等于什么？
that is
等
index
于 false。
equals false.
啊，这里 这里给它注掉啊，因为我这里是打开它的状态，把关了。
Here, because the last file is on, so I have to turn it off.
data 2啊，
Here, another one, another data is generated.
这个所以我就没
As we
有
can see,
我只写了数据啊。
because I didn't write in the index
然后
with
这里呢，
only the numbers.
如果我想给它的页签加一个名字，那我就
Here, if I would like to add a name of this sheet, I can type in sheet-name equals to AA.
这里再来个叫什么呢 ？data 3吧。
Here, I change it to data 3.
看一下这个 data 3，
Now, the result is shown.
在下面，
Please pay attention.
它这个页签的名字
In this data, the name of the sheet is called AA, as I typed in before.
那这个啊，就是我们去读写
And this is the way and methods to read and write Excel files.
那读取这个 MyCircle 呢，我们就给大家介绍一下这个相关的用法。
And next,
那它首先要借助于
the MyCircle read and write.
要进行一个安装。
First of all, we need to utilize the library that is PyMyCircle. Here, we have to type the one that is shown on the PowerPoint and put in the function of create dash engine. Here,
我们要通过 create engine
at this part,
创建这样一个
to
对象。
create dash engine function, we have to create an object
创建这样一个对象
as it is shown in the PowerPoint. After the object is created,
这里创建了对象啊，这里是创建它的一个对象。然后这里
and
面
this is the object that is created.
是什么呢？是用户名。
And the root is
是密码。
the code.
localhost 是什么呢？是我们的一个它的一个主机名啊。
And here, localhost is the local PC.
3306是端口。
And the socket is 3306. And MyDB is the name of the dataset.
然后在这里啊，我们可以
Here in this part,
PD 点
through PD dot read dash circle.
STU 是什么呢？它是表示的是我
And
们
here, STU represents the sheet and chart. In this way, we can read the data in circle, charts, or sheet.
那当然了，我们也可以在这个地方
Also,
不直接查询这个表里面的数据，
here
我们
we can use the indirect
在这
ways.
里写 circle 语句，
We can write in another code.
它就会把这个 circle 语句的这个结果
That is the circle sentences. So the result was shown as the circle sentences as well.
那写入数据呢，我们要用到这个叫 to circle
About
这个方法。
writing in the data, we'll use the function of 2-circle. Here, if we create a data frame,
这个 data frame 的点
and next, same way, we put in the df.2-circle, and the name of the sheet is called score. In this way, we can generate the data from data frame and write it into the score sheet. On this page, let's take a look at the common statistical analysis functions. Min means calculate the minimum value. Max calculate the maximum value. And sum operation. Min means calculate the average value. And count to count the numbers of non-missing values. And size count the numbers of elements. And respectively calculate the median, calculate arbitrary quantile, calculate variance, And that
STD 是求
VAR
标准差，
description of it is to calculate variance. STD calculate the standard deviation. CORR calculate the correct correlation coefficient.
数据信息
Describe descriptive statistics.
是转置，
Info data information.
是分组，
T means transposition function. Group by means grouping. And aggregate means aggregation operation.
那我们来到代码当中啊，
Here, let's also go into the code.
又有一个 Python file，
Let's create another Python file.
demo08， 这个叫
and
FUN，
create a demo file.
这里引入 pandas crew， import pandas
Here, same as before, import pandas as PD and import numpy as MP.
然后 df 等于 PD 点
Here, df equals to PD dot data frame.
然后这里通过
bracket
随机去进行创建
Here,
random
we create randomly. That is mp dot random dot randn bracket
然后 index
6 rows 4 columns, and the index is list bracket from A to F.
column 等于什么呢
Columns
list
here equals to the list
B C D
from A to D.
打印 df
Let's print the df
运行啊，
and run the code.
得到这样的一个结果
Here, the result is obtained.
print df 点 min 这是求
Now let's continue to print df.min to get the minimum value.
注意，默认是按列求最小，纵向
The
求
default is to calculate the minimum by
指定
column. Now we change it to the raw calculation.
max 他们俩的用法是一样的，
Now we change it to
来
max,
等于1
that is axis equals 1, as I demonstrated before. And let's run the code.
横向求最大，
Now we got the maximum value
横向求
by horizontal axis.
print d
Now let's type in print
看一下，
df.size.
这是什么呢？
What is this one, ladies and gentlemen?
元素个数24个，
And this is the numbers of the elements.
求非位数。
Now let's type in quantile. Quantile, for example, the quantile is 0.25
0.5， 这是中位数。
and the median is 0.5
quantile 0.75， 这是上四分位。
and the up quantile is 0.75.
啊，得到是这样的一个结果。
Here, this is the result that we
中
obtained.
位数
As you can see from the data,
当然，它是不是也
they
是
are
每列进行
up
求最大
quantile, median quantile.
再来看一下 df 点
Now let's take a look at this one. Let's type in df.t, and this is the transposition.
转置也是一样，行
Same
列列别行吧。
as I demonstrated. The rows changes to columns, and the columns changes to rows.
转置以后变成这样。再来看一下这个 df 点 info，
Now let's try df.info
来看数据的一个具体的一个信息。
to check the specific information of the data.
这个可以统计出来它的一个叫什么每列的一个非控
Here
制的一个数。
The statistic non-new is calculated here because we don't have the control, so that we have 6 here, and the categories of each column.
它的一个内存
Here
占用情况，
The type of this one is the flow type,
这是 info。
and the occupation of the memory usage.
df 点
This is the info function. Here we will try print the df.describe. And this is describe
看
function.
一下结果
Let's check the result.
，count 是数量，
Here, the count is the number.
是平均值
Mean
，std
means the average.
标准差，
STD is the standard average.
最小
Mean means the minimum.
25%，也就是下4分位，
And the
就这个类型。
22% is the quarter quantile.
下4分位，
As it is shown above.
50%就是中
And
位
this
数，
50% means the sub-double quantile. And the 75% is the 3/4 quantile.
这个 infer
X
和
means the maximum
这两
value.
个方法呢，我们用的相对来说比较多一些。
These two
因为呢
functions are
这个
most
嗯
used
这个能够
functions
方便的
in our
节
daily
省
life
放大我们数据里面
because
的
in
一些
this way
信息
we can conveniently check the infos from the data.
那接下来我们再来
Next
看一下这个叫分组。
Let's try grouping.
group 这 import 一个 numpy，
Here same as before.
import 一个 pandas， pd， 那进行分组。
Now we will do the grouping.
pd
Here df equals to pd dot data frame bracket
通过字典创建
through
K1
the character key.
A
Here let's type in
B
A B B A again.
B2
The second one key 2.
又叫 Y
Let's type in 1
2
2
2
2
1
1
Y
1.
data 1
Now
这个
let's type in data 1. That is generated
这一点
randomly. Let's type in mp
点
dot random dot randn with the number of 5.
data 2
Data 2.
mp 点
Let's type in mp dot random dot
多单
randn with the number of 5. And let's print the df.
现在分组
Now
G
we do the grouping. G equals to df dot group by.
按什么分组呢？通过
How do we group
外
it?
参数来指定，
We
按 K1 来
group
分
the
组
data with
，print 一下 G
parameter of by. Let's print G and run the code.
这个是我们的 data frame。
Here we got
啊
the
这个
data
是什么
frame.
呢？
And
这
what
个
is
是一
this
个
one? And this line
我们可以看一
represents
下
the
这个
print
分组
G.
以后它得到的是一个什么呀？
Let's
它
check
得到的
this
是
data.
一个对象，
The result we got
这是对应
is
了它
an
的内存的
object.
内存地址是吧？
And this is
如
the
果我
group
们分组之后，
location.
我们想进行接下来
If
应该是进行
after grouping,
相应的一些统计
if we
计算，
conduct some statistics and
比
calculation,
如说求平均，
for example, to get the average value, to get the maximum value, to get the minimum value, etc. and
那这个我
etc.
们需要怎么做呢？
Here, how can we do?
这个 group by 的对
We
象，它有
put in
相应的一
print
些统计分析
G that we can see here from the screen that there are many functions.
力，这是
If we need to get the average value, we type in min.
一些。那 K1 我们得到的是什么？得到的是 A 和 B 是吧？
Here, K1, we got A
为什么
and
是 A 和
B.
B 呢？
Why is it A and
因
B?
为我们分组的意思就是相同的
Because the meaning of grouping
我们是归为一组。
is that they put the same parameter into one group.
好比是这个 A 是男性
That means, for example, A represents male and B represents female. That is to say, we put all A together in a group and all B in another group. And calculate the average value from the data 1 and data 2. And how does it calculate it? That is the numbers shown here from A, that is those three numbers together and got the average value, and vice versa. It used the same way. Here, I've already shown you before. Group by, as I demonstrated before. Now we go to the part 3. That is the image visualization library, Matplotlib. The function of Matplotlib is to do the plot join to other skills and methods. We have done the data statistics and analysis. We need to present the result of the data analysis. Of course, using charts and image will be the most direct way to represent the data. It shows to the people that it is the most understandable way. And that is the main function of Matplotlib. That is to change its complex data to the vivid chart and table and present it to the people. Here, as we can see from the PowerPoint, the main elements of this chart. The very out one is the figure because it is the biggest one. In the figure, that is the axis. In the axis area, there are also various of axes inside of this area, like x-axis and y-axis. Figure is similar to the drawers. It's like a canvas. An axis, it is similar to a picture on this canvas. On one canvas, we can draw different pictures. An axis, we can put more axis into this canvas. An axis is each line in this area. For example, the x1, the x-axis and y-axis. Here it shows us the main elements. The first one, figure, is the canvas. And subpart, max layout, title, that is to add title. Legend, add legend. X label and Y label, that is to add coordinate access titles. X label, Y name set coordinated range, ticks to set coordinate scale, grid to set the grid lines.
那这是它里面的常规的一些什么呢？就是我们的一些图形。
Those are the common chart types in Matplotlib.
轴线图
Field plot, we can draw a line chart.
柱状图
Also, we can draw bar chart. We can draw scatter plot chart.
stack plot 可以绘制堆叠图
We can draw step plot chart
饼图。
and also the pie chart.
那这些常规的图形在我们的
Those
这个
common
比赛
charts
里面呢，
are usually used in
一个考到啊，
the daily life, and also it will be assessed in the competition.
咱们去给大家
Now
去演示一个代码，
I will demonstrate a code.
那个 demo。
Let's put another demo code.
首先 import
First of all,
matplotlib，
let's
它里面有
import
一个什么？有一个叫
Matplotlib.
纸包叫 pyplot。
And here, there's
这个专业
another
图，我记得
package that is pyplot, and I name it MP.
再把 numpy 引进来，
And
接
let's
下来我
import
们去
NumPy
生成咱们的数据。
to generate the data.
那现在获取 x 坐标
Now
等于什
let's
么
obtain
？np
x
line
axis
space
that equals to MP dot line space from negative MP dot
到哪
p
里来？
i.
正派。
That
这
is
个派就是
the space from negative pi
这
to
个区间我
the
们要
positive
多少
pi.
点呢？
Through this scale,
先搞
how many dots do we generate?
打一下 x
Let's generate 100 dots.
运行。
Let's print the x. Then run the code. Here
这个作为我
there
们
are
x
100 dots. And those 100 dots
有
will
x
be
坐标还有
the
y 坐标。
x of the x
sin 等于什么
x,
np 点 sin x
and the y axis equals to mp sine,
np 点
and cos y equals to mp cos x.
这是我们的 y 坐标，
And this is the y axis.
然后开始绘图
Now
，np 点 figure
the
就
image
是设置
is drawn.
比如我这里跟它设置
mp dot figure. This is the set for the canvas. For example, let's write it in as sine and cosine.
这是设置什么呢？
And let's continue to type in mp dot title, and this is the set of the title.
我 sin
Same as before, let's type in sine and cosine, and also put in the front size. That is the size of the field, and let's set it to 20.
np 点 plot
Now let's start drawing
绘制折线图，
by typing mp dot plot.
再传入 y 坐标，
Let's import x
给它一个颜
axis
色，
and y axis, and let's give a color of it.
等于什么？比如给个红色，绿
For
色，
example, let's put it red,
再给它一个 label，
and let's give a label of this
标
image.
签是什么 ？y 等于 sin
That is y equals to sine
x，
bracket x.
这是一条折线图。再来另外一条折线图
Now
，log x 坐标或 sin y，y
let's put in plot x
color 等于什么
cosine dash y color. Let's put another color that is blue,
？label 标签等于什么？
and let's put in the label that is y equals to cosine bracket x.
设置一下 x 坐标
Let's set x
坐标的
axis
标签是什么呢？
of the label of the x axis.
给它一个字体大小
Let's set
等于多少？
let's
比如给
give the name of it x and set the size of the field
再
that
来
is
一个
16,
y label
and
y 这个
y label
标签是什么？是 y
we set it as y
它一个
and put in the size of the field,
等于16，
that is 16 as well.
设置一下网格线
Now
型
let's
是
set
对的，
the bright line.
然后给个参数 line style
Let's give a
线型
parameter that is line style,
线，然后 MP 点 line 进的
and let's put in mp.legend.
显示图例，然后再来 MP 点秀项
And now let's put in mp.show.
显示图形啊，
That is that indicates the shape
的效果。
of the image. Let's see the result of it. Here, the result is shown.
这样啊，我们就绘制了一个轴线图。
We draw a linear chart. Here, this part is the label.
标签，也就是
Here,
X
this
label
is the axis of X,
这是 Y 轴的标签，也就是
and
Y label。
here is the label of Y
这个
axis.
网格线型是什么呢？是我们
And
这个 grid 进行的设置。
the bright line is the set by the grind
是显示
function.
这个图例，
Legends is to show the demonstration.
它的颜色，
And the color of this line
这个
is
它的一个
set
坐标呢，
as
是
before.
由我们这种 plot 里面的参数给定的。啊，这里给的是 x 坐标，
We'll give the parameters here.
也是正弦，
As you can see, here the sine y and cosine y.
给的是红色。
And the first one is the color red, and the second one is the color
那这个
blue.
地方我给了它一个 label。
Here, I gave a label that is
这个地方通过图
that is shown here.
进行一个显示了。好，那这个就是咱们的一个 matplotlib 啊，给大家介绍
This
一下。
is the process of the matplotlib.
好，今天的内容，
Ladies and gentlemen,
训练营第2天的一个内容，
second day training,
派 pandas 和 matplotlib
the NumPy,
给大家
pandas, and matplotlib
讲解完毕了。
is now
接
over.
下来还有
Next,
几分钟时间啊，大家
I will take the last several minutes
有疑问
for everybody. If you have any questions, here you can ask your
10分钟
questions.
时间啊，可以进行
We have another 7 minutes. I will do the Q&A session.
大家有问题啊，可以问啊。
If you have any questions, you can turn on your mic and ask.
比赛有英文，
In the competition,
应该是
there
一口
are
两用的
questions in English.
视频是吧？它不是显示视频的，这个是显示，它是显示我们的一个图形的。
PLT represents matplotlib.
它的作用是
Function of matplotlib
我们的这个
is to draw
图表啊，图形图表
charts and tables, but not to generate the videos.
做视频的库不是这个库，要用其他的库。
This is not the library for video making.
reshape 和 resize 具体区别是吧？
Question: differences between ray shape and ray size.
一个是需要复制数据，一个
The
是
first one, ray shape,
啊，一个是
that is to repeat the data.
就地进行什么样的？就地进行更改它的一个形状。那 reshape 呢？它会怎么样呢？它会重新去生成一个
reshape will generate a new image, and resize will change the previous image.
这个圆窗口怎么看着这么奇怪？我把它弄大一点，弄大一点啊，这个太小了，看着不是特别舒服啊。其他同学还有问题吗？
Anyone who have any questions?
咱们明天7点钟，明天晚上7点钟，不要忘了啊，我们还有
The training for tomorrow is at the same time.
第3天主要是做这个图像处理，
But in tomorrow's training, we'll focus on the image processing. I'm looking forward to your participation. All of this training content will be helpful for the competition.
还有4分钟时间。
4 minutes left.
NumPy 和 Pandas 是吧 ？NumPy 和 Pandas 的话 ，Rehab 不是 Reshape， 它主要是什么？主要是使用于 NumPy 里面的哈。
Reshape is usually used in NumPy.
不会使用这个 Reshape，
In Pandas, we don't use reshape
因为 Pandas 我们在使用 Pandas 的
because
话，
while using Pandas,
主要的作用不是说
the function of it
的改变 ，Pandas
is not to change the dimension.
主要就是1维和2维的数据。
Pandas focus on the data of 1 dimension and 2 dimension. Usually, we don't change the numbers of the dimension because usually we analyze the structure data.
不只是1维，
Whereas in NumPy, we use various of dimensional
3维、4维、
data.
5维，甚至更高维度的。所以我们在
Therefore,
里面肯定更多的
in NumPy, we use reshape more. Whereas in Pandas, we usually don't operate this way because most of the structured data are 1 dimension and 2 dimension.
现在3维的数据已经被移出去了。我们 Pandas 不会是说有这种
Therefore,
更高维度的这种场景。
in Pandas, we don't analyze the higher level of dimension in daily life. And that's why we don't use reshape in Pandas.
Pandas 还有你吗，同学们？
Any questions?
Yeah. 没有问题啊，我们今天就到这啊。我看大家都没啥问题了，是吧？
Without further ado, if you don't have any
我们
questions,
今天就到这啊。
today's training
明
will
天
call
7
an
点
end.
大家希望大家准时参加，好吧？
7 p.m. tomorrow.
明天是图像处理的，也是
I'm looking forward to your participation. And in tomorrow's training, we'll focus on the image processing. And it is highly used in the competition because AI contains a lot about image processing. Okay, then the training for today is now end.